All right, everybody, welcome to our Tabletop RPG Network roundtable for January 2021. It's good to see everybody. Hope everybody had a good holiday, a good Christmas, or whatever else you celebrate, and also a good New Year. So, hey, everybody. We'll be with you guys for about the next probably 45 minutes, hour, however long we decide to ramble on. And, hey, everybody, what's going on?
Dave? What's up, Dave?
How's it going?
Good. With Santa
Happy
Claus
New Year,
everybody. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Everybody get what they want for the holidays?
Yeah.
No, I'm still fat and bald. So.
I'm about
COVID, I couldn't approve.
I was going to say, you didn't want that?
Ooh.
Jeez.
In about 2 hours, I'll get what I want for Christmas.
I got what I wanted. I got an M4 Benelli, so I'm happy. That was cool. But of course,
what is it?
I bought it myself. So it's
an M4 Benelli. It sounds like something I get at Baskin Robbins.
It is an M4 Benelli. It is an Italian-made, top-of-the-line tactical shotgun.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
It's for hunting cans.
Yeah, it is. It's for
And
hunting
if y'all would have
paper
been there for the
targets.
meeting, you could have seen it.
And weapons.
It's for hunting paper targets out in the desert. So, firearms, shoot at paper targets. So, all right, we'll get started. So, we'll kind of go around and see what's going on, what everybody's got going on. I'll start off. Usually I go last, but I'll start first. So, all of my games has started back up. Basically, I run a game for the employees at Fantasy Grounds. So we're doing Lost Mine of Fandel over there, and we're doing that on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern time on the Fantasy Grounds channel. It's been really fun. It's been a unique experience with a bunch of crazy dudes that do crazy things. So every time I've ran Lost Mine of Fandelver, it's been played differently every time, and this time is no different. So my Pathfinder 2 game on Saturdays, my Extinction Curse campaign, we started back up on Saturday. It's going well. They survived. Pathfinder 2 is pretty relentless with the encounters. They're really tough, and my players have expressed that they enjoy that aspect of Pathfinder 2 because monsters are much more challenging. They want less monsters and more memorable encounters. So nothing better than a level 5 creature with plus 21 to hit. You know, I mean, it's pretty crazy. And 3d8 damage plus 2d6 poison. I mean, they're really memorable encounters. So that's what I like about it. But I do have an announcement on that. My Saturday game. Almost. My Saturday game is actually moving to Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So, 2 p.m. Mountain Time or 4 p.m. Eastern. We've got a couple guys, but yeah, just moved. We're actually playing Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're starting on Wednesday. We just had a new player join, Joseph. Great. He's playing a Kobold Swashbuckler. So, yeah. But other than that, that's what I got going on. And for the last 2.5 months, I've had a video release on my YouTube channel. So I'm at 2.5 months and going on that. And I've got about another 40 miniature unboxing videos that are coming out over the next 2 to 3 months as I am transitioning away from Icons of the Realms miniatures to Pathfinder Battles minis. So, yeah, that's what I've got going on. Tons of other videos and stuff going on, and I'm thinking about starting a short Starfinder campaign for the beginner box set. It'll probably last maybe 2 or 3 sessions. Other than that, I'll pass it over to Drake. What you got going on, man?
What time is it? We got. Anyways, I've got.
Be here for a while.
Are you ready to sell me that 3030 Winchester yet? I'm ready to buy it. I've got some Icons of the Realms minis. We'll trade or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know if it fires. It's never been shot, so we'll have to see. So yeah, I've got all my stuff's kicking back up after the new year. Tuesdays, I just started Princes of the Apocalypse. All my games are at 8 Eastern. Tuesday, Princes of the Apocalypse. Thursday, I'm playing in over on Marbania's channel. Since he's not here, Slacker. He's running Deadlands. That's pretty fun. I'm liking that. The River or something. I don't know. And then on Friday, or the Flood. Yeah, that's it. The Flood,
that's a
not the River.
Great plot point campaign.
On Friday, I switch between Empire of the Ghouls, which is a Midgard campaign setting, 5e. And I play in that. Matakuri is running that one. And then I also, on off Fridays, I run a homebrew, Jungles of Chult. So it's based after the Tomb of Annihilation. So no big tomb. There's no tomb. We're not doing the tomb.
I assume because it's annihilated.
Yeah, because somebody beat it up,
Yeah.
That's how many adventures have been through there? Yeah. I already ran that part. And then Saturday, over on Rob's channel, I'm DMing Rime of the Frost Maiden, except for January, because it's a month he takes off. If you're watching Rob's Slacker, we need to start playing again. Rime of the Frost Maiden's working out pretty fun. I like it. Sunday is my tabletop crew, my old high school buddies and stuff like that. And I'm running them through Against the Giants right now out of the Yawning Portal, and then back on Tuesday again. So yeah, I don't do anything Monday and Wednesdays. Those are my nights off. So
I also have one other thing. I play in a game on Sundays. We're playing 5e, and we're doing Lost Mighty Fandover, and we have totally, as of yesterday, we just threw the whole campaign on its hind heels. We are literally taking the town of Phandalin over. We are the new Red Brands.
Yeah, so I've watched a lot of that game, and I'm like, these guys are like, they just went, here's the railroad, and the subway came this direction, and they got on the subway, and then they blew it all up, and now they're coming back.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We're going to be in a lot of trouble, that's for sure. Shmo, good to see you, buddy. What do you got going on, bud? A nice onesie, by the way.
Shit's not working. There we go. Now it's working. I'm doing good. I appreciate that. Fridays, still running some Shadow of the Demon Lord. Should be wrapping up our Christmas adventure this Friday.
Very underrated game, I might say, Chris.
Yes, indeed.
I love that game.
We're going to be playing that up until level 10, so probably another 4 or 5 months, and then we'll be moving over to some Beckme, which I know you were excited to hear.
I'll be watching.
And then Sundays, we dropped the Genesis for just a little bit and picked up Adventures in Middle Earth, 5th edition D&D taking place in Middle Earth.
That's a pretty nicely supported system, actually.
Yeah, they unfortunately Cubicle 7 sold the rights or lost the rights to Free League Publishing, so they're not making content anymore. All the books are out of print. Our first game went. They were used to 5th edition Murder Hobo, and in the first big encounter, everybody TPK'd except for one person who had a 3-day journey back to town with no rations. So he died anyway. So we restarted it. We restarted the next week, started fresh, and started into some homebrew stuff.
And Gorgio, good to see you as well, man. What do you got going on? So 8 games a week going?
Sort of. So Thursdays in the morning, I am DMing Tomb of Annihilation. We're on session 18, and my players finally got to the very first thing they set off to go after in session 3. So Thursday nights, I also play on Deadlands with Drake and Marbania. That's a very, very fun campaign. And then Saturdays, every other Saturday, I am DMing Curse of Strahd, the finally escaped the murder of the death house last week, which was awesome. And then every Sunday we were playing Rime of the Frost Maiden, and I actually get to play in that campaign, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, I've had a good time playing years since I've played. So the last time I played was when we did our Yawning Portal game years ago.
Yeah, I do Yawning Portal every other Saturday as well, but I don't stream that one because those players are not very savvy with Twitch, and you don't want to hear them. But yeah, that's me.
that game was crazy, Dave. I remember that game.
Yeah.
Is that the one where everybody showed up in person naked and then you guys rubbed butter all over yourselves?
I think you're mistaking us for your home game.
That's what I call homebrew here. Everybody loves the fat bald guy on butter. Mm-hmm.
What do you got going on, Miss Bell?
Let's see. I've got Dragon Scales on Tuesday nights. And on Thursday, every other Thursday, I have Gamma World. Friday, I will start a Pathfinder 2 game. Every other Saturday, I have Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And of course, I have the game with you on Sunday for us Minds of Phandelver.
I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if we're going to have like
we're
Waterdeep and everybody. Yeah, we're dead. We're totally dead. So I'm going to totally blame that on Once B. On the Murder Hobo, actually.
Well, you know,
I'll take that.
It's not like I haven't been dead in that game yet. I mean, I've already lost one character. So
and almost
I'm kind of going through them. Yeah, well, you know, I love to play the really weak characters. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Didn't we just throw you in a bush outside of town?
That's right.
I threw him in a bush.
Just let woodpeckers eat me. It was terrible.
Worm, what do you got going on, man?
Said a prayer.
Oh, I'm
a sci-fi game going.
You get to play in that Sunday game. That's pretty sweet. But you know, for Christmas, I got the big old drive-through RPG money. So I bought a lot of RPGs and been reading through those. There's been a lot of pretty sweet stuff that's out there. So I've been looking a lot at City of Mist, which has been out for a while, but that's pretty sweet. There's like a 5e Supers that's cool, and then I also got like this Traveler, like all the Traveler stuff in some kind of bonus thing through RPG, like it was a kind of like a humble bundle, and then some Mage the Ascension, and so basically I've kind of been just rifling through all of those and seeing kind of what's new and what's creative. And there's a few things.
Stuff.
Yeah, the Traveler stuff's pretty sweet. There's something called Blades in the Dark that's really cool. It's very interesting. The way that I might have talked about this before, but the way that you role play it is like you start with how the situation is, and then you can like kind of fast back to roll to figure out how you get to that particular point. So it's pretty interesting. So I've been doing that, just that stuff, as well as I had to play a lot of Divinity 3 on Steam, if you guys like what I like to call computers. So I've been playing a lot of that with random people from the channel, and that's been pretty fun.
Did it have a decent multiplayer? Is it a mod still, or is it actually like coded into the game now?
It's coded into the game. And it's pretty decent. They had some problems when it was first released, but we've actually done pretty well with it. And what's interesting is that there's so many different ways that you can approach things. They really, really took it like to the limit. Like you can, it's not just going in there and throwing oil and lighting it on fire to kill monsters. There's just, you can be nice. You can use your stealth. You can, and there's different cutscenes for a lot of different things that you do. I think it's fantastic. I think it's going to definitely win awards when it's finally released. So it's still in early access, but definitely fun. It's been a while since you've played a game like that. It's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I've been playing Kingmaker from time to time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I got another one that's also based on 5e. I don't know what it is right offhand, but I got that for Christmas. And it's another computer game that's based on 5e rule set. Really cool. The dice roll and everything. So it's really, really good. But it's only single player. So I find myself, not really putting a lot of time in it because I kind of like to play those games socially and stuff.
Yeah, I like multiplayer stuff, just the whole group aspect, and probably why I like Kingmaker, even though it's single player. It has the aspects of, having however many characters you have. So.
Yeah, these also have lots of characters that you can have in each of these games. But, one of the things about 5e is that it doesn't all map to, perfect rules for computer games, because of the way that the timing works. You've got like the near time, and then you've got like you're going a long distance, but they did such a great job in both of those games, but especially in Baldur's Gate, where I wish to see more dice rolling in Baldur's Gate, but you get to make decisions, and you get to roll dice that come up as saving throws or whatever that really are random. And then like one time I'll play through and I'll do the exact same thing, but because I roll low, like a whole other thing will play out. So I just think it's fantastic. I cannot wait for mods to hit that game, because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that the community can create. But that's about it, my friend.
Good. Yeah, we had some fun playing that multiplayer a couple years back. That was fun. What do you got going on, Murder Hobo? Saving the best for last there. What
have I got going on?
What do you got going on, Murder Hobo?
Oh, let me tell you, I like multiplayer, but it's not like single player. That's where the real deal is. A little scented candle, a little hot lotion, single player style. You know what I'm talking about? All right. Yeah. I got let me tell you a funny story, man. I was supposed to start everything back up this week. I run a Sunday morning gaming group, so I'm up early all the time, right? So 7:00 Sunday morning on Twitch, I get up and I stream my little deal. And we're supposed to fire it back up this week, but the fat man's phone cacked it, and I skipped. Not only did I miss my podcast, the Wild Eye podcast with Eric Lamoureux and Carl Kiesler, slept right through that bad boy. I actually slept right through my game too, and all my players were like, "What's going on?" So yeah, I got up about 9:00. Man, it's like I'm married, I got kids, so I try and set my stuff up where I do a heavy RPG week and then a heavy hangout with the wife week, right? She can only handle me for
divorced. Just get divorced and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
I agree.
I would just be forced to play single player games all the time.
5 games a week.
Oh, I thought you were divorced 5 times for a second. I was like, holy crap, dude, that's awesome.
He plays games 5 days a week. I just end up playing single player games all the time. I wouldn't even do RPG stuff anymore. Right? A little towel action. Like,
so is that the only game you got going on Sunday mornings? I'm trying to get away from the oil.
Nice glass of Chianti.
Come on, that's way more interesting than shit I got going on. So yeah, I play ICRPG. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but probably not. But it's a fantastic little system, and I've been running that for the last year. So I think this year I'm going to kick it into Savage Worlds. I want to do some, probably try some ETU, which is really cool. Maybe some Wise Guys, which is definitely on the hit list. And I'm going to start switching over to some sci-fi. I know that you're into the Starfinder, but Savage Worlds has got a great friggin' last parsec setting that I'm going to start busting out some of that too. I don't know how I'm going to build these space maps on my tabletop simulator though, so that's kind of another problem. Wednesday nights, every second week, I do the Murder Hobo Show podcast where you can listen to me tell fart jokes and say really stupid shit. It's really that sort of stuff. I said stuff. And then, other than that, that's about it. Then I play with you guys where I demolish the game and throw it off the rails and try and get us killed on Sunday afternoon.
It's actually
and that's enough
funny.
for me.
I wonder if we're gonna.
It is.
I don't know what we're gonna do, but
no spoilers, Dave. Don't spoil it.
Well, we're all here. All four of us are players. So, yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah, but I want to watch it. That's what I'm saying. Spoilers. Right. Don't ruin it.
This isn't a spoiler. I planted evidence, so hopefully that'll take care of us.
I think I'm just going to get pregnant and wander off into the wilderness. That's my game plan.
I'm going to contribute to that, I guess.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's roll for pregnancy. I think it's like a 15 or higher.
I'm surprised, Worm, that you haven't asked him to go into bunny form to cuddle with him yet. Like you did with 3 Dex Rogue a bunch of years ago.
I could snuggle. We could just snuggle.
He's always more interested in Tomy, your book.
Yeah, my book, because my character, my second character. So I put all the lore and I came up with a fantastic character. And oh my God, I can't tell you how much stuff I put into that first character. And I'm just like, man, there's so much backstory. He's this illusionist and he's super cool. And he goes from town to town and he casts illusion of sickness on people. And then he sells them like fake things, salves and stuff, and then he'll move the illusion. So that's how he makes money. And he was killed like the first episode or something. So then I'm just like, I'll roll up some other rando. And that's the guy I'm stuck with. But
honestly,
he's pretty sweet.
I'm surprised how long he's last, because when you played in my game, you only lasted one session too, and the lizard men in the swamp took you out. You went down faster than a...
I know. I went down like Madonna on prom night. But it's kind of difficult for me sometimes.
Never mind. My bad. I shouldn't have done that. Sorry.
No, it was good.
So yeah, that's what I got going on. I got to start firing up my YouTube channel again this year. I do a YouTube channel where I show people how to make 3D maps for Tabletop Simulator. I know a lot of guys here play Fantasy Grounds and stuff like that. It's my second favorite. I'm heavily invested in that, as Dave can attest to. And I use it a lot for. Well, come on, man! Everybody's got their preference, right? I like to switch it up every once in a while.
I hear you.
Left hand, right hand.
So tonight's topic, everyone, is player and DM or GM etiquette. So I'm sure this will probably be pretty interesting. So I'll go last on this because I'm sure you guys will probably cover everything. So you know what? I'm gonna go back to Murder Hobo on this, because I was thinking about this today. I'm like, what do you consider is proper etiquette, and do you even believe in etiquette at all? Because I mean, some GMs or DMs just really don't care, just whatever happens. So what kind of etiquette do you like to see at your table?
Do you pick up your pinky when you're rolling the dice or something? Is that what you mean by
any kind of etiquette? I'm preferably online etiquette, but I mean, if you're playing around the table, I mean, there's some etiquette that would be pretty deep.
Right, I mean, I got a couple of rules. First of all, I don't like to listen to you chewing your chips and stuff like that. No eating food up close to the mic. That's for starters, right? Show up clean. I don't. This isn't a convention. You don't want to be 5 days into not having a shower. Thankfully, I'm on this side of the screen, but. As far as the rest of it goes, if you want to fap off screen, or we actually don't even play with the video on, which is kind of nice. We just let that slide. But burping and snorting and sniffling and stuff like that, keep that to a minimum. And I have a tendency to, I don't know if you guys play with randoms on the internet, but I'm not a random fan. I like to play with people that I know, and at least that way. Because I sort of don't have a filter, in case you can't tell. My filter broke a long time ago. And so I like to play with people that I know, sort of get my stupid humor, where you can talk about playing single or multiplayer games and not really get called on it.
Yeah, I gave up on randoms a long time ago. Especially when I put all this effort into making 25 different 4th edition pre-generated characters, and they're like, I don't want that power. I want to make my own. Oh, sorry, buddy.
You're going to play my game, so suck it.
So what kind of GM etiquette? I mean, what do you like to do for your players that...
Well, I mean, sleep in for one, not show up on time.
You see that? I remember playing a couple Saturday games with you, and you like started at my 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I do. I get up
7 o'clock. That's too early for me.
Well, what are you, 10?
Yeah, I am 10. I am 10.
10 tons.
10 tons, mother friend.
What do you think, Schmo? What's some etiquette that you like to see? Do you promote any around your table? I kind of get with my players ahead of time and give
being on time. Metagaming really, really pisses me off. If I catch people metagaming, I'll give them, once shame on me, twice shame on you, third time your ass is out of here and you're never coming back.
Have you ever had a player say, "Oh, DM Chris, I'm looking at the monster manual right now, and that bullywug doesn't have sneak attack. Why are you attacking us with sneak attack?"
Yes, close to that. I've done something and had the player, I didn't know that they could do that. Or I've had them watching my channel as well during the game, which really pisses me off. And not being ready on your turn. I mean, it's your character sheet is kind of like the McDonald's menu. I take that back. The menu changes all the damn time, but your character sheet stays the same figure out what in the hell you want to do.
Oh my God, I bought that cup for my mother for Christmas last year in Gorgio. The coffee makes me poop cup. Yes! I bought that for she loves it.
I think he must have picked that up last time he visited your mom.
Yes.
Yeah, your mom gave it to me.
Dude, she said it was missing. What the hell?
Oh, and by the way, I'm now your stepdad.
Hey, I'm not calling you dad.
You don't have to call him dad, though, Dave.
No, I've had a thanks, Worm. I've had a couple players do that on me, but to touch up on what you're saying, yeah, reading along in modules. I mean, they're easily accessible. Anybody can go online and Google a PDF and find it, and that's why I've always changed stuff up. And I'll catch stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, they haven't searched for 6 freaking rooms prior to the room that they're in, and there's something in there, and I've adjusted stuff on the fly to where, I come over to this wall and check." Dude, what are you looking at the map where the secret door is? And then I just say, "No, there's nothing there." And they're like, "Are you sure there's nothing there?" I'm like, "No, there's nothing there except for that spear that just shoots you right in the eye as you're looking at the wall." But other than that,
I spent a few hours making a map for one of my games with the line of sight, all this kind of stuff. And when I dropped it in the players first, I dropped the players on. I said, "Listen, guys." So I spent a lot of time making this map. If I catch one of y'all dragging your tokens around, exploring it, your ass is off my table, and you're never coming back. I said that will piss me off right there.
Well, they can't go through the walls, so they can't go into rooms and stuff.
I didn't know that at the time, but I put the fear of God into them, so it worked.
Just now wait till you guys see
move their tokens.
All of the new lighting features. Torches are going to be rippling flame on the wall.
Yes.
Carl's done a bang-up job, man. Hopefully by the end of January, we'll have it.
Now, are those 3D, Dave? I said, are those 3D?
No, it's not. That knucklehead.
Will they make like little fire sounds too?
Well, we are working on sound as well, so that's a possibility in the future.
Oh my!
That's not happening off the bat, but I mean, it could be possible. Yeah.
Need to get them to work on getting an official Demon Lord rule set, but anyways.
One has been in production for years, but there's no ETA on it. So, I mean, we've talked about that before. But
soon.
Yeah, I'm not. Dominic could have built one in a day, probably. Holy cow. He's Use a machine.
Hey, I'll go next, Dave. I'll tell you the stuff that I like and don't like.
I'll get to you. Worm. Do you have anything that you like to do in your games, Chris, for etiquette or?
Like, what do you mean?
Like,
do you like it when people tell puns nonstop? Let's start there.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wow. Shots fired.
I don't know if that's etiquette or annoyance.
I don't really like it when people steal the scene or hog the show. And I mean, good RP is one thing, but if people are trying to pipe up and they can't get somebody's constantly talking, that kind of gets a little annoying at times.
Have you ever had to pull anyone aside and have a little talk with them? A little talk?
No, I just tell them on stream. I don't really care.
You just give them the old Rob Tui treatment. What the f are you doing?
Yeah. I'll tell them, hang on 1 second. All right, such and such, you can go ahead now, and then come back to them.
You should get the extension that has a turn time.
Okay.
I have thought about doing that, yes.
I use it.
What about you, Worm?
I think Drake was going to say he uses the turn timer. Is that what you use, Drake?
Yeah.
I had to use it in the past for one game. That was it.
For just one person?
You get a minute to declare your action or skip your ass. So, pony up.
1 minute. Man, that's like, what is that?
That's like eternity.
Right?
It's like the declaration. But sometimes people do that, and then you see them like rifling through the book, starting at the index page. Fireball! Let me reread that. Well, yeah. I mean, for me, I think
had the last 10 minutes to do anything. You'd already have to prepare everything.
Well, yeah, exactly. But you want to watch what everybody else is doing, because that a lot of times that combat happens at the same time. And for me, when I'm thinking of something like, I'm going to just shoot the spell in there, then I get like a 1 initiative, and then later I'll be like, well, crap, I better heal Murder Hobo's character. He's going to die again. It's just the way I roll, because he just walks in there. I'll take off my armor. That's just, I don't know why he does that all the time.
I was trying to get lathered up, man.
That's right. Well, I think for me, I think there's a couple of things for me. Like when I have different etiquette when I'm around the table for real, and then when I'm doing the virtual stuff. So around the table for real, you can make eye contact and tap people. People can eat chips or drink sodas or whatever. It's not such a big deal, but one of the things that's pretty annoying, and I know that you probably have this too, Dave, is that I like it if I would love it if I could just keep the headset on and talk to people, and then like that. But it's just not feasible, because the dog will bark, or the door will go off, or the kids will yell, and that kind of detracts. So turning on the push to talk,
yes,
even though I require that, but I don't like it, because then you get people like me that will like put a 4-second push to talk in there, and you'll just hear like half of what they're saying. You're like, what? Because you're not holding it long enough. That's kind of a big thing. And I love with cameras, I think looking at people and seeing their face, you can see a lot of like what's going on. I mean, you can see some guy back there yawning or whatever, then you'll know I'm going to attack his sorry ass. So I like the cameras when I'm playing remotely. I like that being on. But for the most part, that's about it, man. I let people, sometimes you get into serious things, sometimes you get the, jokes. I do one other thing no matter what, and that's if somebody like jokes around and says something like, there's an NPC or something, and they're like, I stab him in the back, ha ha ha. I'll let them get away with that a couple of times, but then, I'll be like, are you sure? Oh, wait a minute, no. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people like joke around like that, but every once in a while when I stop that joking around, it'll be like, okay, you stab her in the back, roll initiative.
I think this is the most serious I've ever seen you, Worm. It's kind of scary.
I did a whole bunch of shrooms before the channel tape, so I don't know what's going on most of the.
I did I did that exact same thing in yesterday's game. And Andrew just looks at me like, roll initiative. I'm like, I'm just kidding.
This is going to be the longest game of your life.
Yeah. And Gorgio, what about you? What's some proper etiquette?
My biggest thing is don't be a rules lawyer. I hate with a passion rules lawyers. And I'm like, Rob, I'll sit there and I'll cut you out right there on stream. I don't care. Like, don't rules lawyer me. If there's something you...
I like how everybody refers. I'll cut you out like Rob.
You have that guy on your game that'll he'll refer to a rule, but instead of going to the rule book, he'll be like, in 1987, or he'll be like, in 2012, the tweet from whatever came out that really clarified that they haven't. I've had that before, and it's just like, whatever, dude, you're still dead.
It's so annoying.
Some of the games I run, if they try to do that, I just message the creator and get my answer and be like, no, I'm sorry. The guy that made the game said this is the way it is. Let's move on.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, when you're old like me, I would go, well, when we used to play with Gary Gygax, he didn't allow that. But, I guess you can do whatever you want. You guys wouldn't be able to pull it off because you're all too young.
Yeah, I don't
I was
creators.
I was born in '86, so I'm really young.
Oh my God, I've had stomach cramps since '86.
13.
I was born the day the Challenger blew up. If that
Oh wow, that's two explosions.
I was sitting on the monkey bars in 5th grade, pointing my fake gun up to the sky, going with my friend James from my D&D group when we were doing this, and then it exploded, and then I started crying because I felt so bad.
You did it? You thought you brought down the Challenger with your fake gun?
No, but I was sad. So
I have some bad news, Dave.
Actually, our school. I mean, I lived in Titusville, where the Space Center is and everything, and Krista McAuliffe was supposed to be calling into our class to do the school teachings with our classes for 5th and 6th grade. Well, actually, I think it was 4th, 5th, 6th. So that was upsetting. And she actually came to our school and everything. It was really cool.
You would have been more scary if she would have recorded it earlier, and then they still let the tape play out. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been terrifying.
Yep.
Man, I was
in college, and I was just walking through.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I was just walking through college, and we had these big screen TVs, and I'm like, "What's up?" And they said, "Oh, Challenger just exploded," and so everybody's like watching that and just pointing to the screen and stuff. So I sat there, and then I picked up this chick. Her name was Tamitha Lynn Roten. She was hot. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I was, yeah, okay. But yeah, Challenger explosion and stuff. Let me just tell you, that wasn't the only challenge I had.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Man, I was downstairs just finishing up a single-player game when that thing blew up, and I'm like, did I do that?
There's the old worm that I know. So you got anything else, Gorgio? Anything that you like to do personally as a DM, or?
Oh God, I like to screw with people, because I think what Schmo was saying, you have your players watch your maps. I also tend to have some players watch my maps too. So on the combat tracker, I'll actually throw extra crap in there just to screw with them, and it's all hidden, like all the enemies and whatnot are hidden.
Yeah.
Just to screw with people. Like, well, that didn't happen. Like, well, you shouldn't be watching my stream. You can be in chat all day long, just don't watch the stream. But no, other than that, don't be the rules lawyer. That pisses me off quicker than anything.
What about you, Paulette? What's some proper etiquette? I'd like to hear this.
Definitely the rules lawyer thing. You've heard me complain on that in a few of my games. Punctual, that's huge. I'm even like with our stream, I'm here, up to a half an hour early, making sure things running. So with
not
games,
like me, where I show up a minute before we go live and say, "All right, we're going live."
You're still sleeping half an hour early, like 10 minutes too.
10 minutes too when he gets a phone call.
I do every time. I do. Keeps me in check. That's for sure.
Yeah, when we play at the table, we take a few minutes beforehand to, do our grab ass whatever, and then we get into game. And then when we break for dinner, that's if there's any questions, that's when we do it. When the rules lawyers get their chance. It's only during the dinner break, and then we go back into character as soon as we're done eating. So it's a little different for me at tabletop. I probably am a little more immersed than I am online. Just sad.
Well, you also you like take the dietary, menus into consideration for all of your players, and you like make casseroles and stuff.
I've been doing this for years.
I'll just throw half chips out on the table. I just dump them out.
You're nicer than me. I give them a pretzel. Like, there you go.
Here's one pretzel, and this is the one that I found on the couch.
I started taking my kids when they were 11 years old to game. So, it was a good way of teaching them to play with others and take turns and all that. A lot of the ones we played with were college kids, and they weren't eating food for dinner. They were eating candy bars and chips and soda, and that made me a little psycho. So I started bringing casseroles, and it just became a habit.
Man, I want to play in your games because it's
free food. Holy shit, man!
You care what they eat, and I don't even care what they say half the time.
Just come to Missouri.
It's a whole other level.
It's that maternal habit.
Yeah, swing on over here to Missouri. You can make some casseroles for all of us that live here.
Exactly.
Drake, what do you got going on for Etiquette?
I mean, I have to just add one more thing.
Oh, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, when you're live with somebody, you ever have an animal or something that just really bothers you? I remember I had a dog that would always hump people, and then it was an English bulldog, so he's big old flat face. They all look vicious, but they're cute as anything. And I'd always be they'd be "Oh, your dog!" They're all scared of him. I'm like, dude, just let him finish, and then you can, But they, But once he was done, then he just left everybody alone.
Christmas vacation.
As a player,
let him finish. Just let him finish.
If I show up to someone's house and as a player and their dog has to finish, that's probably an etiquette thing I don't like. Yeah, I want to help.
Still counts.
He's not going to sit there. Poor little guy. He doesn't have any thumbs. He needs a little help.
Eye contact. Tell him he's a good boy.
Still counts. No, what bothers me, I mean, of course, the rules lawyer is probably, high up there. Being a munchkin, don't be a munchkin. Come on. If you don't know what a munchkin is, then do some research, too. You got to know what a munchkin is, and then don't be one.
I mean, might as well we got some time. Why don't you just kind of give everybody a heads up on what a munchkin is? Save them a trip to Google.
Well, I don't even remember exactly what a munchkin is anymore, but don't be one. I mean, munchkin is, somebody that's just annoying, Don't be annoying. Now, the biggest thing that bothers me is that the DM is all you can tell he's got the book and he's beyond the doors, the floor declines towards, and he's reading the module text or whatever. He's trying to describe the scene, and the players keep interrupting him. They're just let him finish. Just like the dog, just let him finish.
Well, that was a callback. That was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta let him finish.
The munchkins are
I mean,
I think for me, the munchkins are the people that are I remember I played with a player, and his name was Mark, and he was real super every single thing you would say, he would try to find the exact way to twist it. And you'd be he attacks. And that'd be always about 4 feet away. And he goes, 4 feet or 3 feet? He'd be all that super turn stuff around. He'd be okay, here's what I'm going to do. It's just, it gets annoying after a while. But, every once in a while, somebody will do something interesting that you didn't really think of, and it ends up kind of making the game a little better.
So is the genie from Aladdin a munchkin?
No, the genie from Aladdin is not a munchkin. It's a djinn.
A munchkin?
Munchkin. Yeah,
Munchkin.
okay, great.
Is there anything you prefer to do at your table, or even at your live game that you play in, Drake?
Well, yeah, actually, I forgot that once a month we're doing a live game too. One thing when like you come over to somebody's house and you're already late, right? You're supposed to be there at 4. It's 4:20, and everybody's kind of already got all their shit all spread out, And there's 6 guys at a 4x4 freaking folding table in the living room, 3 dogs. The wife is cooking in the kitchen. It's cramped already, and then you show up with 3 styrofoam containers of food, and you're trying to eat right when we're gaming at the table. McFly, you have this much space. I have this much space. Don't be taking up this much space at the table. That bothers me.
Well,
and when I run my online games, I always bring food for the other players.
Eat it in front of them.
When you run your online games, yeah, that's great.
I brought you this bag of cookies.
For them to watch you eat.
Yeah, I always go like, hey, go to this website. You'll get some cookies.
So I've got a couple things, and you guys have pretty much touched on everything. But I will say about around the table, January-ish, when we started making our Starfinder and Pathfinder 2 characters, I had one of... This is serious etiquette right here. Don't go to someone's house, use their bathroom, and just destroy it, as in leaving the door open after taking a dump for 15 minutes, and then you're thinking, what in the hell is that smell? Because,
you're looking at the bottom of your feet.
I live in a very Mexican-heavy population, and the food is spicy, and holy cow, my buddy, he just destroyed my bathroom. And proper etiquette. Please don't go to someone's house and stink it up. And therefore, at least if you drop a deuce for 15 minutes, close the door at least. Don't leave it open.
Dave, that's why I always poop outside when I'm at a friend's house.
Yeah.
It's like in the shrubs.
Do you mean close the door when he's done, or like while he's doing it?
No, he left the door open when he came out.
But it's okay sometimes if they have a litter box, you can just dump a deuce right in there. No problem. They have a cat. No problem.
I was really drunk and I did that once.
They needed a real shovel.
When I'm playing online is definitely push to talk. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than listening to someone breathe and smack gum and, chomping on their pork spare rib that they're eating or whatever. I mean, it's just, I don't like that. That's why I always mandatory push to talk in my game. And also to touch on rule lawyers, also. Metagaming, hate metagaming. I've already touched on that. Already touched on, I've actually overslept a couple times just because of my schedule and the amount of games and stuff.
No.
So I've done that a few times, and I hate it when it happens. But for rule lawyers, I always tell my players, we'll just go ahead and I'm gonna make a call on the fly, and then we'll look it up later during the week, and then next week we'll kind of talk about it. That's how I do it, because nothing is worse than rule lawyers in full effect. It just breaks the whole flow of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
And you got to stop, look stuff up. I mean, I could see it happening if you're playing like a new game or something like that. That's understandable. But every time someone does something or the DM does something, I hate rule lawyering. That was something early on that I just despised. And I got an example of rule lawyering. Fantasy Grounds, we do public events. We do FG days, and it's like a day that just where you can advertise a game, etc. And I've done it several times in the past, and I've never had any problems when I've done Savage Worlds in the past. I did a 50 Fathoms one shot. I've done D&D Adventurers League. Let me tell you something about the Pathfinder Society player base. They are hardcore. The majority, I'm not going to say every Pathfinder Society player is hardcore. Well, I did a one shot of the very first Pathfinder 2 came out a couple years ago. Holy cow, man. That was the worst experience I ever had running a game. And I actually stopped it. We had a 3-hour time limit. And I planned the game to be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, even though it was. We were 2 hours in and we were barely even to the location to where everything started. And I called it and I said, guys, I'm new to Pathfinder, and I said, this is such a turnoff to hear you guys just nonstop debating. I had one guy saying, well, how come you don't have the inventory turned on in the party sheet? I'm like, because I don't think you should be able to see what everybody else has. And he goes, well, in Pathfinder Society, rule number 27.4, rounded up to the nearest decimal point, you can see character sheets around the table. And I'm like, well, not at my table. So, and I advertise this as a non-legal Pathfinder Society game. So it was the worst experience ever. I mean, I love Pathfinder 2, don't get me wrong, but man, and I love going on the forums and why every time Paizo does something with, like, they just introduced the new gunslinger class and they introduced the new investigator, and they put right behind that post, like 10 minutes later, they put gunslinger playtest for Pathfinder. Dude, that was like the very first thing I did was click on that just to read that. And I made a post I shouldn't have. And I said, I love to see what all you Pathfinder 2 geeks say. They didn't like it when I said that. But yeah, Pathfinder 2, they are some hardcore players, man, for sure. Yeah.
I think there's one thing worse than probably a rules lawyer.
What's that?
And that's if you ever played an online game where somebody shows and they don't even have a mic and they're wanting to like chat their whole role play.
I had a player like that one time that didn't have a mic.
Yeah, early on when I started playing in 2014, 2015, somewhere around there, I had a player that joined and they just wanted to type on the screen because they didn't like the way that their voice sounded. I'm just like, how in the God's name are you going to figure this out? It's so hard to play.
My first Fantasy Grounds game, like 10 years ago, was a text game. And I'm like, why aren't we using Ventrilo here? Back when Ventrilo was a thing. So, but all right, everybody, it's 9:00. We're going to head and call it. I'm going to choose the topic for next month's discussion. And that is going to be, what kind of house rules do you implement in your games? So I think that's a pretty good topic. So
yeah, I like
next
no
month,
pants.
Yeah, no pants. Got it. All right.
I thought you said you were going to role play erotica. That was going to be our topic. How do you role play erotica? But okay, well, maybe next time.
All right, everybody. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks everybody for coming to the roundtable discussion tonight. Next week, next month, February 2021, gonna be all about house rules. So until next time, everybody out there, thanks for watching. And until next time, happy gaming and stay safe. Bye for now.